Hi, my name's Annie. This is my lovely co-host Tony, and she's probably not going to be sticking around long. I just talked her into joining me, and I had to physically carry her in here. But I think she wants to go play outside, so she'll probably be leaving very, very shortly. But I wanted her to at least help me kick off the video. So here she is. And she'll be leaving in just a second, I bet. Or not. Who knows? She's a cat. Who knows what she'll do? She doesn't know. The reason I'm making this video is because this morning I received my BoxyCharm add-on items for the month, which I got two of. One is the Ofra Good to Go palette. It's a Mini Max palette. And I can bring it up close. My camera will focus on it. I just got this camera, so I'm kind of still learning how to use it, how to frame stuff. As you can see, that's the outside. The other side has a description of what the shades are. And this is what the palette itself looks like. It comes with a plastic protector. And the biggest thing and the thing that I wanted was this multicolor highlight here. It's also got a contour shade right there and a blush, which is my favorite kind of shade, this kind of pinky peach color. Or not peach, I guess, it's a true pink. But looking at the eyeshadows up here, it looks like you could get a pretty good look out of those as well. Using a little bit of the contour maybe as a neutral or a transition shade, maybe not. And anyways, I got it and I really wanted to try it, and I have nothing else to do today, so I thought I'd do a first impressions review where I put it on my face. I'm not wearing any makeup at all, so I'm going to be putting on my full face. I don't know if you'll be able to see it when I upload this, but I have a mirror here, so it should be a little less awkward with me constantly bending way down to look, hopefully. So I'm going to get right into it. I don't remember exactly how much I paid for it or how much it goes for normally. It was obviously on sale because it was BoxyCharm. And I certainly wouldn't have bought it at full price because I'm very, very cheap. But I will put the price on the screen, probably right up here. If I can find those numbers, they will be appearing in the air right there. And you'll see them. If not, well, you know I thought about doing it, and I'd like to think that counts for something. So the first thing I'm going to do is put on my primer. This is Gerard Cosmetics and Fair. Seen so many people on YouTube talk about how great this stuff is, and I have to say I kind of agree. So I'm going to take a moment and put that on, and I'll be right back. I'm going to film as much of this video without my glasses on, obviously, because I can't put my glasses on, but that means I can't see, so if anything weird happens behind me, I won't really know about it. So let me go ahead and put this on. And I will be cropping a lot of dead space, hopefully. I'm getting a little bit better at editing. I'm pretending people are going to watch this. I don't know if anybody will or not, but I'm pretending people are. You need very little of this stuff. I'm going to go ahead and paint that on. I do have the problem that because I'm in my mid-50s, I have wrinkles, so my skin wants to pull and drag. But this stuff behaves really, really nicely. It doesn't dry down too fast, so I can spread it around. And it just gives me a nice base to put everything on. It makes the makeup look very bright. And I really do like this. Do my other eye. So this is what I look like when I have it on both eyes. I'm going to give it a chance to dry, and while I do that, I'm going to put on my brows. Since I have blue hair, bright blue hair, I do blue brows. And that's not the palette. Let me find the right palette. So now I have my eyebrows done. I simply use a blue eyeshadow, which is this palette right here. I got this on Amazon, and it's, what is it? It's Cara Beauty. And so one I typically use, I'm just throwing a little blue shade on my eyes to give them, my eyebrows to give them some definition. And then I'm going over it with Milk, Kush, clear eyebrow gel, which I got from BoxyCharm for $3. This is what I do when I'm going to work, and it keeps it on my face, on my eyebrows for 16 hours or longer. This morning I worked for a total of 16 hours, including the 2-hour drive, which is a little crazy, but I wanted the overtime. So that's what I do with my eyes. I like to do it in this order because it gives my eye primer a chance to dry. So I'm going to go ahead and check to see how that looks right now. A little tiny bit creased, which is to be expected because I was blinking when it was wet, but very, very little. I didn't put it on completely straight. I can fix it very easily with my fingers when I have a little bit of creasing. And that's not to say it creases, it's just that I put it on wet, and any product will crease if you put it on wet and then start blinking. I think I'm ready to go ahead and start with the reason for the video, the Ofra Good to Go palette. One thing I like about this, and it really does seem to be a full face palette, where you do have the eye highlighter, blush, and contour. The only thing that's a little weird to me is the highlighter is so much bigger than everything, and typically I don't use a lot more highlighter than the other two down here. But I think a lot of people are here just for the highlighter because Ofra is very famous for their highlighters. And this appears to be a beautiful one. I'm going to try to get it a little closer to the camera. As you can see, it has a pink, ivory, rose gold, and a more gold one on top. And it just looks nice. So it's the reason that it drew me into the palette, so I'm sure other people do as well. Since Ofra is a well-known and well-respected brand, I'm pretty optimistic that this will turn out good. So let's get on to it. I think first I will put on a transition shade. I can't see without my glasses, so I'm having to grab. And I'm just going to, hope I brought in the correct brushes that I wanted to use. I accidentally turned off the recording, so if there's a jump, that's why. I have to crop this kind of manually. So I guess there's a way to do it automatically, but I don't know it. Alrighty. These are magnetic pans, so you can just pop them out if you want to depot them and put them into a Z palette or something similar to that. And I think I'm going to start with this one up here, which is, I believe, Ready. I do like that in the back here it has the palette shade name so I can show it and say what it is. So yeah, this is Ready. I'm going to go, it's kind of a light colored, peachy, peach pink colored with just a little bit of shimmer. I'm going to put it on with a packing brush up on my brow bone. I always do my brow bone first because that's generally speaking the lightest. Now the other eye. So I don't know if that's showing up on camera. The only thing I've done is right under my eyebrow. It's pretty close to my natural skin tone. So I'm going to go into the shade next to it, right here. That is the shade Reset. And that's what I'm going to use in my crease. It's kind of more orangey than I would normally use, but that's okay. I'm using a packing brush for this. There was a little bit of dust coming up when I was doing the first shade, the fresh shade. Or not the clean slate shade. But I was pressing kind of heavy into it. But I do feel that the color's showing up pretty well. And it is a nice color, and it seems to be blending pretty well. And now my other eye. So the mattes do have a bit of kickback. I can see makeup on the palette from where the dust flew up from them. I'm holding it straight up so that I can see what I'm doing. But that's pretty typical, I think, for matte, so I'm not mad at it. Is there any fallout on my face? I don't think there's any fallout on my face. I'm having a little bit of a difficult time seeing because the light, my camera works really well in low light. And if I turn on my normal light that I use to do my makeup when I'm in this room, it just floods out my face and you can't see anything. So I'm kind of in the dark here. There's this darker shade. It's kind of a dark brick red. That's called Clean Slate. You'd think slate would be a gray color. At least I would, but okay. I'm just going to put this in the corner of my eye here, like the third. And just bring it over the crease a little bit to deepen that up. And I'm also going to run it under my eye. This is how I almost always do my makeup, where I do the darkest in the third, bring it over the crease, and bring it under the eye so it all matches. It's not really creative, but that is what works for me. Now I'm going to do the other eye, hopefully the same way. Okay, so now I have it on both eyes. I'm going to go ahead and take a blending brush and make sure it's very well blended. But I'm not sure that's entirely necessary because it is blending really well. It's easy to work with. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Yes, this is very nice. It blends very easily. My makeup sometimes looks uneven from eye to eye because I tend to switch hands. My left hand is my dominant hand, but when I do my right eye, I use my right hand, and therefore it might be a little lighter or heavier or less precise. So I'm going to go ahead with the lid color now, and I think I'm just going to use one. I have two good candidates. The first one, Ambition, is this redder tone right here, and Goals is this kind of a coppery color. Coppery brown. This is a lot more red. I think I'm going to go with the copper tone because that's what I would normally wear. So I want to make it look like I would normally wear to work. Though I do sometimes go for brighter colors. And because it is a shimmer, I'm going to use just my finger. For me, they seem to apply a little bit better. And that's pretty, very pretty. I would expect that Ofra would make good shimmers because they're so famous for their highlighters, and shimmer is, I would think, somewhat similar to that. This is a cooler tone than I thought it would be. I'm doing the other eye now. No, I've been cutting it out, but I'll probably keep this in because I'm chattering over it. It's a cooler tone than I expected, but I think it does go with the warmer tone transition shade that is in here. Yeah, this is actually pretty nice. Okay. And now finally I'm going to do my inner corner, which the obvious candidate to my eyes is this shade called Fresh, and it's a nice mint green. It's a little more excuse me, I got a frog in my throat. It's a little bolder than I usually choose. Let me locate my inner corner brush. This is from Colourpop, and it's a nice cone-shaped one. So I do like it for my inner corner because it can get right in there. Yeah, this has good pigmentation. The shimmers don't have kickback like the mattes did, which is typical. The kickback wasn't really bad, or I'm saying kickback, I mean fallout. The fallout wasn't really bad on the mattes. I was digging pretty hard and I have kind of stiff brushes, so most of my makeup, the way I put it on, does have a little kickback. So I'm not saying I'm mad at it or that it's difficult to work with. It certainly isn't. Go ahead and put a little on my tear duct as well. Okay, so this is what it looks like once I have all the eyeshadow on. I'm trying to get my face as close to the camera as I can. And I think I'm right over my microphone right now. I think it turned out rather nice. I like this. Maybe I'll buy some more eyeshadow, or if I come across it, I'll get some more eyeshadows from Ofra. There wasn't really a shade in there that I wanted to use as liner. I typically do use eyeshadow not only for my brows, but also to line my eyes, because I'm not very good at drawing, though I do sometimes use gel liners. I'm not so good at drawing on a good eyeline with eyeliner. So I usually do use shadows. This is the Feverish Palette by CC Color. I just got this in the mail too, and I'll be doing a complete look later on, hopefully. And it's a dupe for the Sultry palette by, I want to say, Natasha Dodona? No, that can't be right. I have forgotten who makes the Sultry palette. I'll put it up on the green backdrop. But as you can see, it's got a couple of really good mattes, like this one and that one, that would make good eyeliners. The brown is nice and rich. It's also got other really good colors. I was playing around with it earlier today, and I made a really nice warm look. I made a really nice cool look. So it's a really versatile palette. But right now, I'm just going to use the darker shade. I'm going to use this brown here to line my eyes. So when I come back, that will be done. Okay, so I've thrown on the eyeliner from the Feverish palette, and this stuff has a lot more kickback than the Ofra palette. Again, I was going in pretty hard because I like to put a lot of pigment on when I do an eyeliner, so that's to be expected. But I also noticed that earlier when I had it flat, I was using it in a more controlled way, or a little, when I was using it in a more gentle way, it still had a significant amount of dust coming up off of the palette. But I could use that. I just pick it up with my brush, so I didn't mind it. Let me see if I've got any on my face right now. Back in just a second. I did have a little bit of fallout on my cheeks, but I was able to brush that away fairly easily. And I don't see any of the shimmers on my cheeks at all either. It's all just mattes that fell down. Primarily the CC Colors palette, I think, is where most of it ended up on my face. It was darker dust. So, okay. Next up, I'm going to do my mascara. I'm using Milk Waterproof Kush in the shade Black, and I'll be right back. So now I have my mascara on. I don't bother with false lashes, even though I really like how they look on other people. I'm just not that fancy. So I think the Kush mascara looks good enough. I keep saying Kush, it's Milk Kush mascara. And I didn't even have to brush it out or anything. It doesn't really clump. It just sits on my eyes and makes my lashes darker, which is what I want it to do. I do notice some flaking with it towards the end of the day when I've been wearing it for 18 hours plus, or not 18 hours, when I've been wearing it for 14 to 15 hours. I think that's to be expected, though. I'm working in a factory where I'm sweating and running around and stuff, so I do tend to be pretty hard on my makeup. So that's my look for my eyes. I think I'm going to get a little closer to the camera so it's a little more noticeable. My eyes are done right now. I'm going to go ahead and close them so you can see. And I like it. I think Ofra did a good job with the eyeshadows. So I'm going to go ahead now and put on my foundation. So now I'm ready to put on my foundation. What I'm using right now is actually a BB cream. It's pure 4-in-1 tinted moisturizer. I don't know if it calls itself a BB cream or not. No, it doesn't. It just says tinted moisturizer. This is in the shade Fair, I believe. This is in the shade LN2, as near as I can tell. I got it, I believe, from a BoxyCharm, and it was a pop-up item, or I may have gotten it at Ulta, I'm not sure. I'm trying to go with lighter coverage things on my face because I'm trying to go with lighter coverage products on my face. I don't believe I need full coverage. I don't have a lot of red spots. I have a few dots here and there, but nothing major. And anything I put on my face tends to settle into my wrinkles. I get really bad creasing in my foreheads, under my eyes, and in my snout lines over here. The only thing I have on my face right now is moisturizer, and I use The Ordinary. The only thing I have on my face right now is my moisturizer, and I used the Ordinary moisturizer, which came in a BoxyCharm, It's a pretty good moisturizer. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be for the face or not, but that's how I used it. And I'm also using Touch of Soul Icy Sherbet Face Primer. And this stuff comes with a little white insert, and it's a pink gel. Smells nice, smells like roses. Because I am so demanding on my makeup on days when I work, I do wear a primer. I think it does help it hold a little better. So I haven't used this yet. I'm going to go ahead and try it now. I have to open it. And I'll be, well, let's see. Well, I don't know if I'll keep this in or not. I can go ahead and rub it in. It is giving me a little bit of coverage. It's actually more coverage than I expected. Go into my eye socket over here. I'm using a fair amount of it. Trying to keep it off of my lips. Take a look at it. So it did give me a little bit of coverage without completely whiting out my face like some products tend to do. I do want to have a little more coverage under my eyes, so I'm using Dose of Color. Oh, excuse me, no. I want to have a little bit of coverage under my eyes, so I'm using Colourpop. I'm using Colourpop No Filter Concealer in the shade Light. In the shade Light 204A. Go ahead and pop that on. I have a little dot here. I have a vein up here that I can see, and one right by my mouth on this side. So I'm just giving a little extra coverage where I have known flaws. I have a little dot right here. I popped a little concealer on that. I know a lot of women like to use, I know that a lot of other people like to use, I know that I've seen a lot of other people using beauty blenders on YouTube videos, but I like to use brushes, and I'm not sure why. That's just part of my charm. So let me go ahead and grab. This is a BoxyCharm specially made brush, and it's kind of dirty right now. I haven't had a chance to wash them this week yet, but I will. Go ahead and pop it on. It's actually a little too big. Grab my other one. This is the one I use for my concealer. And I just tap it in. So now I've got on as much foundation or tinted stuff on my face as I'm going to have. Yeah, I do like that it's not really settling into my forehead creases very much. It will always settle into my eyes because it's just super crepey down there. But for me, it doesn't look that bad. It's a little tacky. I just put it on. I'm going to set it with Tarte Shape Tape Powder in the shade Translucent. This is a Contour Complex brush. I got this from Ipsy. And it's like a $30 brush. It's my favorite brush of all times. It's super soft. And I don't think I have anything else that I like using as much as this. For anything. You know, I could put on most of my other makeup with my fingers. I don't want to give up this brush though. So go ahead and dust this on. I'm not going to cake it on. just enough to get rid of some of that tacky feeling. Okay, so this is what I look like with foundation or tinted moisturizer. I think it's not too bad. Now it's time to use the face palette portion of this Ofra palette, of this Good to Go palette. Let's see if I am good to go. I know it's maybe a little weird, but I always put on my contour with a medium kabuki brush. Put it down here underneath my cheekbone. And it's a little severe looking now. I'll blend that out with a fluffier brush in a moment. But I like to see where I'm putting it. I can barely see. I'm definitely able to see this though. I've got pretty good pigment. I'm also going to put it up here on my forehead so it doesn't look so big. Again, I'm just tapping it on, just stippling it on a little. This is kind of a dark shade for me, and I'm probably going a little strong on it, but we'll see how it blends out. Be a good test. I'll put it on the side of my nose to make it look a little, minimize it a little, make it a little narrower, and then under my chin, I'm trying to give the illusion that my face isn't perfectly round like a beach ball. We'll see how that works. Trying to give the illusion that I have a chin. So this is the brush I'm going to use to actually try to blend that out. And it's also from Complex Contour. And it's my second favorite brush. It's a little denser than the other one. Okay. Well, that is blending out nicely. Okay. Cool, 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 cool. Yeah. Okay. This is what it looks like when it's blended out, and I think it turned out really nicely. So I'm going to use the blush next. I got this this is a Persona brush, double-ended. I like the smaller blush brush because I can be more precise with it. I'm just going to put it right above the contour. I like to have it kind of heavier. Wow, this is really showing up on camera more so than in real life. Okay. In real life, in my mirror, I can barely see it, but on camera, it's really dark. Okay. Okay. In fact, all of my makeup is showing up much more on the camera than it is in real life. Now the star of the show, this is called All the Lights highlighter. I'm going to go in close on it again. And I'm just going to go ahead and swirl my highlighter portion of my Persona brush all the way around. Get a good coating of it. I'm going to go twice because that's the kind of girl I am. I can't see it in this light. Let's see if it shows. Oh, I can on this side. Wow. Okay, maybe twice wasn't. Yeah, that's noticeable. That is very noticeable. So I'm hoping it's showing up on camera. I can barely see myself in the screen, but I think it is showing up. After I have all three on, I like to go over and just blend them all together a little bit. Trying to avoid the situation where you have just a bright line of highlighter. I hope I didn't take it all off. Try not to squint into the screen. Just a little more because I really like to be shiny. I'm not going anywhere today, so I can be. And I believe there's just one more thing to do, which is my lipstick. I'm not going to bother lining my lips. I usually tend to overdraw and then correct it and then end up with really, really big lips. So my lips are asymmetrical, so my lipstick always looks bad no matter what I do. Again, that's part of my charm. This is Kylie Jenner. I got ink on it because I took it to work and I was working in a fluorescent orange ink. This is the shade Nova. It's a matte lipstick and it's kind of a pink nude, which is really my jam. Go ahead and throw this on. The lipstick, in case anyone's interested, is embossed with her name on it, so you can remember which Kardashian you got it from. This is Kylie. And it's It's like my own lip color, only a lot better. It's not super bright, which I like. And I've worn it before to work, and it lasts for a pretty good long time. Once it does dry down, it's matte, and it just kind of stays on your lips, and I like it. Let me see if I can locate my glasses. This is In Beauty Power Up Dual Phase Setting Spray. It has a layer of oil floating on a layer of something. I'll go ahead and give it a shake. And then spritz. I don't know what that does. It smells nice. It has kind of like a little citrusy smell to it. Since I do wear my makeup for so long, when I go to work, I try to give it every chance I can to stick around. But to be perfectly honest, I forget that step about 75% of the time. So, okay, so this is what I look like with my makeup on. That blush and that highlighter, wow, that is really bold. Turning it so I can see it. When I was putting it on with my glasses off, I couldn't see what I looked like in the screen, obviously. And I think that I really like that palette. I'm not going to do a wear test on it because I'm not going to work today. That's why I'm filming the video. Everything was very pigmented, easy to put on, easy to blend. That's from the contour to the eyeshadows to the highlighter. Everything just worked great. It's definitely showing up on my face. I do feel like I have a lot more definition, and I definitely have a lot more shine. That green shade in my corners is showing up really nicely. I know it can be hard to tell with my glasses on because the lights are reflecting back, but yeah, I can see it in the mirror, so I know it's there. My hair is kind of in the way. So, you know, total, I'm really happy with this palette. I think if you're traveling and you can only take one palette, back in the, you know, if you're somebody who can travel, I know a lot of people can't right now or just don't, like I don't really. It has a magnetic closure, it's just pretty solid. And for added protection, it also has this plastic cover, which apparently only goes on one way. It has this plastic cover so that it protects it even more, so I like that. And I'm holding it just by the top and it's not dropping open, so it's pretty sturdy. I think it would be good. I don't know if I'd want to keep it in my purse because it doesn't feel that sturdy, but if you could only have one palette for your face, I'd say this is a pretty good one. I came up with a look that I could feel confident wearing to work and not think it's too out there. And also with that darker red lid shade, I think you could come up with something a little more dramatic if you wanted to do that as well. The only thing I wish it had was a darker shade that I could use as an eyeliner, but that's really a nitpicky thing. I think a lot of people probably use dedicated eyeliners. I have a feeling that that contour shade would be a decent eyeliner too. It's not as dark as what I put on from the Feverish palette, but I think in a pinch it would work if you could only have one palette for everything. Which, face it, I just turned off my heater. So if things sound a little different, that's why. So yes, if you could only have one palette, that's this Ofra Good to Go palette is, well, it's good to go. They're not lying in the name. It seems pretty good. I'm glad that I bought it. I would buy it again, maybe even at full price if I was trying to really minimize the amount of makeup I had and I didn't want to have a lot of palettes. This is a good choice. I think you could probably, if you wanted to, you could use individual shades in the highlighter. The pinky shade, the more golden shade. I think there's a white shade in here. Yeah, there's like a very light pink in the bottom. And then a more rose gold. The individual wedges of the pie are big enough that if you wanted to go in just one color, I think you could. But I think they're very nice mixed together. I think the next time I put it on, I'll go a little bit more sparing with the blush. Let's see if I can bluff that, if I can get that out a little better. Yeah, it's still showing up really, really well. That was me putting it on. It's not the fault. I mean, it's not even a fault. A lot of people like their blush like this. I like it a little more subdued. But then again, I could barely see it when I was putting it on because I need to put my makeup on in lower light than I'm accustomed to so I don't appear washed out on the camera. So I wasn't putting it on in ideal circumstances for me. That said, I think I look pretty good. I would be willing to go out like this, even though my blush is a little heavier than I prefer it to be. Playing with my necklace. I'm sorry if that's distracting. I'll stop. So, Ofra, I think, did a very, very good job. I'm glad that BoxyCharm offered it as a add-on. I think some people got it in their premium boxes also. This month, I just got the $25 box. Every third month, I believe, pretty sure it's every third month, I get the $50 one. So I've always gotten really good stuff in that. So I'm looking forward to the next time one of those shows up. So that's my video. That's what I've done today. If you like my content, I'd be very happy if you were to subscribe as well. If you have any questions or any other things you would like me to try, let me know and I might have them on hand. I do have several BoxyCharm palettes and items that I've bought from them. And I also have quite a bit of other makeup as well. I plan on doing more reviewing of various products. I'm also going to be doing weigh-ins and talking about how my diet's going. Really quick, as a really quick check-in, this Monday when I weighed myself, I was right around, I almost said 305. I was right around 205. When I started this channel, I was at 213, I believe, or that was a couple of weeks ago, which is about when I started this channel. So I've already lost a fair amount of weight in this week. I'm really into the hang of the intermittent fasting. I kind of slacked off when the pandemic hit, and there was a lot of stress in my life and a lot of other people's life as a result of it, both economic and worry about my family. We actually lost my stepfather-in-law, so that was a very sad and unhappy time for everybody in our family because he was a really nice guy. We just miss him. But life is starting to get back to normal, and I'm confident that this year will be better than the last one. Well, I thought last year started out pretty good too. Well, we know how that turned out. I'm optimistic about this coming year, and I hope everything turns out better for everybody. So I'm going to end this video now. I hope to be doing more videos about my weight loss, talking about how I'm doing it, talking about my experiences in the past, and also doing more makeup content and possibly reviews of other items as well. So if any of that sounds interesting to you, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, and hopefully I'll see you later. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.